So tonight's movie was Andrew Bujalski's Support the Girls. I have actually not seen any of his previous films, though he is sort of one of the founders of the movement known as Mumblecore. I actually have not seen many Mumblecore movies at all, to be honest. So there you go. So this is my first time delving into his style of filmmaking. It's definitely of the indie ilk, a little glossier than the Mumblecore style films, however, and stars a luminous Regina Hall. As far as I'm concerned, Regina Hall can do no wrong. Even in like shitty movies, she is always good. So it's nice to see her in a lead. I think the last time I saw her in a true lead, not a co-lead, but a true lead, was a rom-com she did for Lifetime like 3 years ago. So it's nice to see her in a lead role again. The film basically takes place over one day with a little coda of another day in the life of a bar and grill manager, Lisa, played by Regina Hall. Um, Anything that could go wrong does go wrong in this day. She has a waitress get into an altercation. They're trying to raise money to help her out. They have someone trying to rob them who gets stuck in a vent. The cable goes out the night before or the day before a big fight. All kinds of things like that. One of her waitresses needs childcare because her babysitter has disappeared, but due to the policy at the restaurant, she can't reschedule because they can't have two black employees working at the same time. Little casual things like that. She has to deal with all of this, meanwhile trying to not talk to the boss because the owner is the one with these like racist policies and all of this. And she's also training new hires that don't quite understand that although they wear crop tops, they are not a skin bar. So all of this is happening, and she's trying to sort of balance this along with some home drama with her husband that she is separating from, and you see one thing after another not quite go right. So nothing in the film ever goes horribly awry. It's not one of those films where things go wrong in the big epic wow that could never happen kind of way. Everything goes wrong in a very real sort of way. You know, being on hold with the cable company and then someone else calls and you take that call and then both calls get hung up and then suddenly you're not dealing with cable anymore. That kind of stuff. And so it's sort of uneventful, even though it's full of events, and doesn't follow a traditional film narrative, though it has a very nice coda of the three main women at the end. Three main women being also Haley Lou Richardson as one of the waitresses, Macy, and what is her name? I just lost it. Shayna McHale as the other waitress, Danielle. And the three of them are really the core of this film, with James LeGros playing the owner of the establishment. He's always solid. And Leah Delaria as one of the main frequenters of this establishment. She's always quite good as well. They also have a moment where basically the film sort of looks at ways in which working class people who are just trying to survive have to weigh dealing with racism and needing a paycheck, weigh dealing with everyday sexism and needing a paycheck, weigh dealing with the way in which sometimes you just got to do it for the paycheck, you know. There's also some interesting things to say about the capitalism and where we're at in capitalism, in that they have a rival chain called Man Cave. So the place they all work, Double Whammies, is owned by this one guy. It's this local, small, little business. Double Whammies is like the equivalent of Man Cave is equivalent of Hooters. It's a chain, and they have glossified and slicked this concept of the sports bar. And it's like, do you work for that small place where you can make little improvements like kicking out customers who cross the line, or do you work for the corporation that has it down to a science, but has high turnaround because they don't give a shit about their employees because they're always going to get a new crop of girls. It kind of adds that at the end of the film for you to sort of noodle on. The main thing the film doesn't do is it never tells you how to feel, even though it's a lot of emotions are on display, and you're really rooting for Lisa to just get through the goddamn day, and you're rooting for these women to sort of help each other. But it also never, like, because it doesn't tell you a lot, and a lot happens, and you don't know, like, the movie just sort of ended, and I was like, whoa, I can't believe I was already here for all of this. That a lot of it after I left, because it feels so, like, real and so accurate to the service industry, but not accurate. It's not like a lot of films are accurate and then turned up a little bit to sort of be memorable. It just is like you were hanging out at this bar for that whole time, and then you forgot about it because as soon as it was over, I mostly forgot about the bulk of what happened in it. So I think that's a little unfortunate. But again, Regina Hall is so good that I will watch her in anything pretty much. And it's nice to see a film with this many female characters. Whether it's, the best ensemble of female characters or the most, what's the word I'm looking for, well-rounded characterizations of women, is neither here nor there. It's just nice to see this many women all in a film. It also tackles a little bit of domestic abuse, but it doesn't delve quite enough. It just kind of shows you a lot of what you've already seen in terms of that. So I guess I liked it. I didn't think it was that great. It'll probably be in the middle of my list of films for the end of the year. But I think Regina Hall was superb and gives one of my favorite performances of the year. So that's really my takeaway, is put her as a lead in more movies. So this was Andrew Bujalski's Support the Girls, and mostly I recommend it because Regina Hall is so good and she should get more lead roles.